This is the Fifth Estate, a conversation between young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government and Professor Mutahi Nguni. This Sunday, we are inspired by Raila the Baba Man. After the handshake, he has forced us to ask this question: of what use to man is his politics? And yes, Aristotle taught us that man is a political animal. But how does politics help him? And this is a question Uhuru Kenyatta is also asking Kenyans today. Of what use to Kenyans is their politics? We have absolutely no answer to this question. We have not even considered it. But because of this, our politics has created a country in which we breed wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, worship without sacrifice, and government without a soul. The Uhuru Kenyatta question is therefore this: are we okay with what we have bred? Are we okay with wealth without work, pleasure without a conscience, and commerce without morality? If South Korea, China, Singapore, Malaysia, and other big economies rejected these vices and industrialized in just a few years, can Kenya do the same? Of what use to Kenya is our bad politics?
Last election alone, we lost close to 1 trillion shillings, but this is even understated. 1 year before the election, businesses stopped spending. 1 year after the elections, businesses were still unsure. They did not spend. We lost 2 years to politics. Another 1 trillion shillings down the drain. Since 1992, we have lost about 1,000 Kenyans every election, and 2007 calls for a thorough healing of memories. We killed in churches and killed in Naivasha. That was politics at its lowest. We committed sin. But the last election gave us a new law. The fellowship of dark politics developed an appetite for children. Babies died as sacrifices on the altar of politics. If Uhuru is nauseated by politics, these are the images and facts running in his mind. He is asking himself, of what use to Kenyans is this kind of politics? If he sells the need to kill these politics, we will buy whatever solution he gives us.
Of what use to man is his politics? That is the Uhuru Kenyatta question. And this question suggests that Uhuru has an alternative to our bad politics. If he did not, why would he pose the question anyway? Uhuru is frustrated by the fact that South Korea was at the same level as Kenya in 1963. In fact, maybe they were worse. Yet, in 50 years, South Korea is a manufacturing country and Kenya is limping out of its shell as a banana republic. Why? Singapore is another example. When Uhuru talks about it, tears swell up in his eyes. Compared to Kenya, Singapore is nothing. It is zero. No resources, no endowments. They even tried to mortgage their country to a neighbor who refused to buy it. True story. But today, Singapore is a first-class economy. Why? How did they turn a charcoal backyard that looks like Shauri Moyo into a world-class economy? China did the same thing, and Malaysia did the same thing. Even Dubai is a desert like northern Kenya, yet they turned it into a super city. Why? According to Uhuru Kenyatta, the X factor is politics. Siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya.
In 2032, Kenya will be the biggest economy in Africa. Nigeria has oil reserves, South Africa has minerals, and Egypt has everything. Yet, Kenya without Nigerian oil or South African minerals will be the biggest economy in Africa come 2032. This is not a promise, it is a scientific projection. If Uhuru Kenyatta is frustrated by the politics of stupid, it is because of the thought of losing this opportunity. But does he have options? It took a ruthless general to turn South Korea into a first world economy. Singapore, Malaysia, and China fixed their politics first, then their economies fixed themselves. Without Joseph Stalin, Russia would not have industrialized. His methods were ruthless, but his end justified his means. He fixed politics, the economy fixed itself. What is our point here? Uhuru is tired of the politics of stupid. Politics in which wealth is acquired without work and commerce is conducted without morality. He is telling us that if we fix this politics, the economy will fix itself. And if the country is not with him, he will do it alone. After all, the miracle workers of South Korea, Malaysia, Singapore, and China were all lone rangers.
Kenya is at the inflection point. In mathematics, this is the highest point in a curve. And at this point, you can either go up or go down. And Uhuru has served notice to us. And this is what he's telling us. We can either go up or go down. And our choice is to become the leading economy in Africa or perish. And the X factor here is our politics. We can choose a politics of stupid, give wealth without work, commerce without morality, and government without measure. We can choose to make government an object of desire for those who wish to eat and grow rich. But we can also choose to change this. And this is what Uhuru Kenyatta is inviting us to do. The choice to change Kenya, according to him, is in our hands. And the tragedy is that Uhuru Kenyatta on this account is completely wrong. Kenyans cannot change Kenya. The military strongmen of South Korea and Singapore did not ask their people to liberate themselves from the poverty that bound them. They just did it. Joseph Stalin did not seek the permission of the Russians to industrialize their country. He just did it. If Kenya is at the inflection point, the choice is to either go up or go down. And Uhuru has no luxury to ask Kenyans whether we want to go up or go down. He should just do it. Change is not a product of dialogue. It is a product of force. And Uhuru should not shy away from using force to change this country. That's the only way we'll become a Singapore, a China, a Malaysia, or a South Korea, in my view.
And now, our final thought. Uhuru went to Arusha by road, and on his way back, he brought the Burundi vice president with him. They addressed crowds on the way back. Then at State House, the vice president of Sudan visited Uhuru with a special message from al-Bashir. The Sudan is falling apart. And before the Sudanese vice president could report to his boss in Khartoum, Zimbabwe sent a military general with a special message for Uhuru. Like Sudan, Zimbabwe is bleeding with unrest, and Nairobi has some solutions. But the story did not end there. On Wednesday, the newly elected president of DRC visited Uhuru. At face value, this was politics as usual. Yet Uhuru was the only head of state to attend Tshisekedi's swearing in Kinshasa, Zaire. But before his election, Tshisekedi had abandoned the opposition on November 22nd last year in Nairobi. Then he announced his candidature for DRC presidency at Nairobi Serena Hotel. Was this a coincidence? Is Uhuru taking over the region from Museveni and Kagame? Is he pushing for politics unusual in Kenya and in the region? Will we support him or get stuck with the politics of stupid?